We just talk about the practicums, the second one, and you got my notice, right? Because I have some conflict in schedule, I have to change on November 11. But some of the friends here say they have some conflict in schedule too. So I don't know whether it will refer November 4 or November the 18th. You think you can make it?
Yeah.
18 and 4?
I originally requested off the. I had originally requested off the first date, but I can change it.
Oh, probably let's end for 18 then. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Alright, so I will confirm with the other one or two more. Anyway, so if you miss the first one, yeah, you need self-discipline to do this, but great for you. That's just wonderful. It's wonderful experience, right? It's not easy. It's the first ever you try for yourself to cut off all this kind of electronic stuff.
It's kind of easy.
Oh, no.
At the house, I mean, like, if you're by yourself, everything's easier. There's no distractions.
So you tried home by yourself, yeah?
No, not yet.
Get try because now October already. So yes.
I was gonna ask if riding, like going on a bike ride, would count.
Excuse me.
If going on a bike ride would count towards meditation, because you're by yourself, but you're actually doing something. So I don't know if that counts.
I like you to experience the whole spectrum of meditation.
Okay.
Walking, standing, body scan, eating, and so forth. So that you can know yourself more.
Okay.
Not once activities.
Okay.
Yeah, for yourself, it's good activities, but most time if you sit down, you could see regulate your breath.
Right. Okay.
We just talk about the change in the schedule. You got that right?
Is it on the 4th?
The 4, but some of our friends may have some problems. The 18th is okay with you?
The 18th?
18th?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, good. So let's say, let's take the 18th then.
Alright, great.
Okay, so we probably next one lady she's today. Okay, your number please.
Number 10.
Okay, so let's move on to now on we study about the Zen traditions. This is a little bit different from the Vipassana or Samatha practice in the Theravada traditions. So especially if you have done some kind of writing, you recognize the differences? You recognize the differences?
It's easier to read.
It's easy to read.
It's much easier.
Okay.
The writing style is more simpler.
Oh, one more thing. So on November the 9th, I'm busy, so we don't have class. We won't have class on November the 9th, right? Okay, so don't come on that day because something as a monk, something occurred. I have to be flexible with my schedule. Sometimes if some of my followers pass away or their relatives pass away, I have to go there and do my service for them. If something happen in emergency cases from other centers have to fly there. So I hope that's the last one. We have to change the schedule. So anyway, so today we talk about the Mahayana Buddhist Meditation, then school, philosophy, and practice. So how many of you have read this one? How many of you have read this one? This one? You read all of you? Okay. About that, can you say something?
So I guess there's 4 practices that Bodhidharma had written. I think it was karmic retribution, adapting to circumstances. What was the 3rd one? No sense of self. And the last one was uniting with the Dharma.
Okay.
So that's what I got. And so there were just 4 practices through the 2 entrances, which was practicing and also, what was the second entrance? Practicing and accepting. Yes, exactly. And the 4 practices stem through the second entrance of practicing.
This is understandable, right?
Yeah, very simple. I liked it a lot. Much more simple.
This is much simpler than
Yes.
the 4 jhanas or the 4 immaterial jhanas. It's still complicated. But before I move on, I'd like to emphasize is even the 2 traditions have different approaches, but in the essence they're the same. And in the traditions, they emphasize on the achievement of jhana step by step, right? From the first jhana to the 4 up to date. That's been the first 4 material jhana, and you may receive, you may progress further to the 8. The last 4 are the immaterial jhanas. It's very hard unless you have that kind of experience to understand. But in Mahayana traditions, the essence is still the same. Calm your mind, right? Clear your mind and so forth. But it takes the whole spectrum of that. Instead of go step by step, it reminds us that we have that kind of nature. Like last time I mentioned about the Buddha nature, lucid natures, awakening nature, compassion nature, and so forth. So that's the essence of the Mahayana meditations. So that's why whenever you read the Zen books, Zen articles, Zen stories, and so forth, all of those teachings aim to activate people, Buddha nature, good nature, and so forth. That's the ultimate goal. So they don't need you to follow certain pattern, certain steps, but to recognize them by yourself. And it's according to the Mahayana Buddhist tradition, it starts with what they call the flower sermon. The flower sermon is it's like one day when the Buddha was teaching, somehow he took hold the flower, and that's all. He didn't say anything except one monk. His name is Mahakassipa. He smiled, and no one else know what happening. Like walk into the bars and just keep silent and just hold the pencil. Probably one of you recognize what I mean by hold this pencil. That's all. The rest you don't know what's happening. Understand that? So this image here. Oh yeah, that's the image here. That's a popular image here. So, and in my Zen tradition, Mahayana Buddhist tradition, it says that the Buddha transmit what they call mind to mind seal. Okay, let me put it this way. Let's say, of course, this is related to personal level. Let's say you go out with your boyfriends, girlfriends, right? And you join with people to have some kind of party. Many of your friends are around you, and your girlfriends, boyfriends. So something happened, right? You may hold a pencil, or you may hold whichever thing that only your boyfriend's girlfriend recognize. Is that right? No one else.
Oh, I see what you're saying now.
You see that? You have that experience with your girlfriend, right?
Yeah, it's like kind of like an inside joke or something like that. Like only you guys know, so only you guys understand.
That's just wow. That's what it's about. You see, so that's what called the flower sermon. He just hold the flower, and only Makasiba, only 1 month, he smiled because he recognized the meaning why the Buddha hold the flower up. So what they call mind to mind shield. What I mean, transmit the Buddha transmit his Buddha nature, Buddha mind to Mahayana. You understand that? He recognized Mahayana. He recognized what the Buddha mean of the Buddha nature. That's the meaning there. And it starts with this story, like what we call the flower sermon story. Okay. And later on, I started to talk briefly about the developments of Buddhism when it spread to China and Far East. So far, it become part of Chinese Buddhism and what we call Zen. Zen is another word of dhyana. Okay, here. So we have what? We have jhana, right? We have jhana, right? It is entirely dhyana. Dhyana in Sanskrit and Chan in Chinese, and Zen in Japan. So that's why we have the word here. To come down to Zen. That's the popular term here. You got that? So it starts with, remember we started about before materials or for immaterials, jhana, and that's the word dhyana. So when Buddhism spread to China, they pick up the word this time. You see? So now it comes down to Zen. So whenever you say Zen master, that means Chan master. That's all. Okay. So and according to the history, so these were what they call 27 Zen patriarchs or Zen master in India, and the last one is, I think you guys, let me see, what called Bodhidharma. I think I can type it for you here. The one who taught that practice. You see this image here?
Oh, I've seen pictures of him before.
Yeah, plenty at the temple. So you see that the way he carry, right? He carry only one shoe, and actually they make the movie about him. I'd like to show you quick. And it's not kung fu movie, but I hope you recognize it.
It always looks so dumb in this.
Oh, I skipped the first part. The first
You have to show us all the good parts.
Oh, this one is important part here.
風吹力動。照我睇，係皇上嘅心動啫。大師所言極有道理，不枉朕同一場相見。貧僧身在遠方，早已聽聞兩朝君主有屠殺皇帝之情。今次我遠道而嚟，係為咗廣傳佛法。你嚟得真係啱。朕自從登基以嚟，修佛寺、造佛像、抄寫經書，功名真係無數。請問大
see
師，
how he
朕
responds.
有何功德力？報功獲得。
You hear that? Why?
You don't need to do all that just to express, you know.
Huh?
It's not what you do to, you know, it's not like what you do externally to say you're a Buddhist. It's what you do at heart instead of what you do.
Wow, you got that.
Yeah.
You see that? In the past, you know, the emperors, they have the authorities. If they want to kill anyone, they can kill any times. If anyone who want to challenge them,
They did.
good luck. So this monk, the emperor, he thought that this one would pass him, would praise him, right? I say no. He didn't do any. Why? Again, he say that, right? He say that he did all kind of merit, right?
Yeah.
And now this monk say no, you didn't have merit. But the next one he spent for him. He
好
stopped.
似文件嘅形字一樣，話佢有嘅，實際上又係冇。咁要點樣做先算功德啊？潔淨圓滿嘅得道者先至有，不過世界上好難揾得到㗎啦。請問大師，呢個世界上有冇佛嘅？冇。新人真人，你知唔知道？你自己係邊個？唔知道。
You see that? You understand that?
I'm kind of confused.
You confuse him, right?
Well, isn't like Buddha an enlightened person? And he's saying that he doesn't know that yet because he's not there.
No,
No.
that's different. That's different. It's not in that he doesn't know, but no attachment. That's a point. No. So when someone achieved that state of mind, our state of mind or the Buddhahood, they don't attach to their own ego. Remember, the first stage of the arhatship is that you don't have any kind of attachment to your ego. It doesn't mean that you don't know yourself. That's a different story. Let's say, we have some selfless act, right, of the people who jump out to help people. Right, the three Mexican gentlemen who died because of helping other people. They didn't care much about themselves. They knew what they're doing, but they didn't care much about themselves. That's the difference. So he said here, why he say I don't know. Who are you? I don't know. Again, no attachment. That's why in the two entries and four principle, that's the last one, union of Dharma. That's been you have to have that kind of selflessness attitude towards things you do. Because basically, as human, we have that tendency to attach to things for us. Or this is my book, this is my table, this is my so forth, this is mine. So whoever touch that, whoever harm us and so forth, we bring them to the court and so forth. You know what I mean? So the point in Buddhist view is that to try to release that kind of attachment to the ego with awareness. If someone say, oh, I remember that one day when I flew back from, Jacksonville, Alabama, right after the Katrina, I went down there to help out. So on airplane, I met I met a gentleman. So yes, we have good conversation, and during that kind of conversation, I asked him you do any kind of meditation? He said, yes. And I asked him how. He said that after meditation, I wake up. Is that meditation? No, it's sleeping. It's sleeping, not meditation. Meditation means you know what you're doing. Awakening or mindfulness, you know what you're doing. Alright, so it's here important passage. That's why the king, the good emperor, he attached too much to his status, too much the thing that he done for other people. That's, of course, it's common sense. He's human. It's common sense. But that's why somehow this harmony say no, it's not married. In Buddhism, in Buddhist view, what they call this cycle of rebirth. We talked about that like before, right? We have the heaven. We have heaven here. We have human here. Animal. Hell. Or some kind of ghost. Or demigod. Okay, so according to Buddhist view, yes, as human, if we do some kind of good deed, like helping other people and so forth, yes, we may accumulate good deeds to become human or go up to the heaven. But still, we still go around the samsara, the cycle of the birth. It's like you save your money in the bank, and yes, it's good after the hurricane, you still have that kind of saving account and buy new cars, houses to replace the damaged one. So after we pass away, right, we have that type of saving, like a merit, we can use it again. So for the king or emperors, he help out to build temple, people and so forth. He has a blessing there, but not what he meant. But he still revolve in Buddhist view. Is still revolve in the samsara that I talked to you before. So if let's say someone they may feel that I don't want to see any kind of physical illness anymore. I want to create more blessing, more merit for me to go to the heaven and many level of heaven. That's fine too. But still, in Buddhist view, if you live up to 1,000, million, trillion years and so forth, one day you will use up all the merit and blessing and come back in the cycle again. So that's the idea. That's why he says no merit, in the sense that if people don't recognize the Buddha nature, Krishna nature and so forth, they still revolve. And that's kind of samsara, kind of cycle of rebirth. That's what it means. Make sense? So the goal in Zen tradition is that to recognize your Buddha nature. You don't need to go through the step like the other one. So, and what happened? So the emperors could not understand the meaning. So the monk get left, and this is a legend. I'll show you this one too. This is pretty long, but you can watch it at home by yourself. It's pretty long.
嗰個店中執人啊，好鬼邋遢嘅，唔好做邋遢，唔收邋遢食㗎。係啊，佢哋茅廁都要想揾免費㗎嘛，仲護住你個女添嘛，你睇下，係佢哋換翻個女啦。你幫我。誒，冇位㗎啦。喂，後邊嗰兩個快脆啲啦！嚟，快啲啦！收船啦！快開船啦！誒，明白。
個船家點解唔咁載佢啊？
係啦，有佢
你睇下就嚟天黑啦！誒，如果搭唔到呢一渡船啊，我仲等到聽日㗎啦。
大聲！你睇下佢仲坐喺度等喎，哼！就算佢等到聽日啊，我都唔會俾佢上船㗎啦，啱，支持你。哇！ 水點咧？我個女咧，佢落水啊！真係我個女啊！唔使驚，唔好喊啦，你阿爹就嚟㗎啦。
Yeah, so he's famous. There's some pictures, image that he walked on the water with that branch, and somehow they modify this story. This is not in history, but I just want to show you. And other part is that after that he went to what they call Shaolin. You guys know Shaolin monk, right? That's where he stopped. That he went there. Let me see here. He went there and sat for 9 years, just facing the wall. Yeah, and they say that his image or his shadow imprints into the wall too, into the wall. You understand?
That's the language I speak.
Huh?
That's the exact dialect I speak. But I was just wondering why, like, every kung fu movie, there's always the one young monk that doesn't care and he's always a jerk.
咁呢個誓語喺度安心靜修啦，我哋就係正如以後就由你奉發你呢位善主。
He didn't eat anything. Even they brought him the food. I can cut part and part for you to follow because it's too long unless you want to watch at home, right? We don't have much time to watch it. But
why do they call him the Indian monk?
He's Indian.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he came from India.
It's just a Chinese movie, they all look the same.
Yeah,
Okay.
he came from India, from South India.
Okay.
That's why I told you that his was considered the 28 Zen patriarchs, are the first Zen patriarchs in China, but the 28 in India.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is the important part. So later on, there's one guy. Let me see here. One guy, he let me see. He seek a teaching from him. He kneel down outside the cave for 3 days and nights under the snow. According to history, they could call that. That shows sincerity. Yeah, let me skip. It's too long. Skip this part a bit. And
大師啊！大師。
So after he kneeled down on the snow for 3 days and nights, he turned around. Yeah, look at this.
請求大師幫我安心。
你心有不安，
我雖然致力求用，但我心總有不安。
咁你攞個心出嚟，等我同你安。
點解我揾唔到我個不安嘅心？
我已經幫你安好啦。
You can understand this? It's pretty important sentence. When you study about Zen tradition, this is, and later on, they use their conversation as a koan, a koan. Why? When he said that my mind is another piece, right? And Bodhidharma say, well, bring your mind out. I will pacify your mind for you. And this young monk say, I could not find them. And after that, the Bodhidharma say, I have pacified your mind already. What does it mean? You got that? Growth less, you know what it mean? No? Okay, here. It's pretty easy to understand. When you come to the class, that's especially taking the test, and you nervous, right? Where's that kind of worriness or stress come from? Where? From where?
Thinking about the test and how you're going to do.
From your mind. Is that right? If you recognize us, if you see that true, they will not disturb you. Got my points? Because everything starts from your mind. So that's why it's meaning. So when you have so much stress, when you have so much anxiety, yes, this comes from the mind. When you just calm your mind and see it, yeah, everything just starts the mind. And later on, when we talk about the sixth page of teaching, he talked about that. The thinking that we have here in Zen tradition always talk about this. They're false thought. They're not true. Why? Why they're not true? For example, when you have some kind of emotion, let's say anger, or jealousy, for example. So from morning until night, you have that kind of emotion constantly? No way. Sometimes you have good thought, bad thought, and so forth, right? Sometimes, yes, you have strong emotion about anger, about jealousy, but still, they come and go. That means, if they come and go, they're false. They're not true. That's not your true nature. Only, remember I told you, only the awakening one, right? It's here. It's the wave of the waveland of our mind, right? Only this one is our nature. Awakening one, the stabilized one. That's the nature here. That's what he talked about. So when we recognize this, it's like it's be a funny story. Let me tell you this. There's one princess. She cried, and she asked for a string of water bubble. Water bubble. Can you have that? No way. So she cried for having that kind of a string of water bubble to hang around her neck. It's impossible, right? So she cried all the time, and of course later on, the king pronounced whoever make the string of water bubble for her, he would give them a big reward. Of course, no one can do that, except one monk. He came to talk to the king and say, "Oh, I can do that for her." You think he can? So yes, he went there and wait for the rain come down, right? And whenever he saw the water bubble, he used a needle. If you want to make the string, alright, you need to use the needle, right? What happened when the needle touched to the water bubble? And he did this repeatedly until the princess, she was so tired. No, I don't need that anymore. You understand that? So in Buddhist view, this is a mind like water bubble. When you see that, that's not true. They're untrue. They're not true. They're full stop. Remember, even before you take the test, you have all kind of thought about, oh, this kind of test is hard or easy and so forth, until you open the test, until you see reality. Is that right? But before that, you have all kind of fantasy thought in your mind about the test. This is one example. This is they unreal. What is good or bad? That's what he's talking about. When he recognizes that unreal, that means he recognizes nature there. That's what about. Makes sense? So from now on, when you read, especially when you read the Zen text, or Zen conversation of Kon, you have to understand the deeper meanings behind that. Otherwise, you may have no clue about what they're talking about. Right? Alright, so I think this part...
it's actually very interesting. I'm reading about him now. He's actually...
Okay.
求大師收為父。
你有個構法，首先要反省下自己。
Actually, the story behind that, because he was general, he killed one guy. So that's he read that. It's a long story, but if you want to watch, I promise.
You said Bodhidharma killed somebody?
No, the young monk, before he became a monk, he killed someone. He cut his arm.
I just read that story. I was reading. I just read that.
Yeah, he cut his arm. That's according to the legend. They say that too. That shows sincerity. This is still strength for you guys here, but in the East,
did it all the time.
that show sincerity. And you know Kung Fu monk, right? Shaolin monk, right? It starts from here. I think you enjoy this part. Yeah, he sat for 9 years in the cave.
聽日你帶人將啲錢送
There's a whole lot of stories about that.
Huh?
The stories that they say.
我哋幾錢？ 咁嘈嘅？停手！呢度係佛門正地，你哋唔好亂嚟啊！嗰啲係香油錢嚟㗎，所謂唔睇僧面都要睇佛面啊！睇乜嘢佛面啊？就算揾佛祖嚟啊，我都冇面俾。阿彌陀佛。
They translate wrong. It's not my God, but Amitofo. That's just the names of Amit.
你哋睇下，啊！呢班平時拜佛嘅和尚，今日都要跪喺我嘅腳下。呢啲啊，唔係跪你啊！山洞嗰啲人不保喐，不保喐，哼！我今日就要對住佢。
guys watch the movie before? I just remember it's just a legend. They somehow incorporate his legend into the martial art in China.
But they say he's Indian though. That's the thing that gets me there.
So this is the legend. So I just want to show you part the legend of Shaolin monk. Actually, in Zen tradition, they don't talk about this thing, that he taught Kung Fu for the monks, but somehow in martial art, because he's so famous that somehow probably they use his name to make this kind of movie. So anyway, so that's the story, and let me go back to show you his picture. You see this is picture here? And he carried only one shoe with him. And that is what he stayed in the cave for 9 years. Let me see here. So according to the legend, let me see here, he carried only one shoe. This is the picture is here. In the Zen text you see that. And they say that somehow, it's a legend, somehow that when he falls asleep, he just look out his eyebrows, so that's why,
they said he fell asleep while meditating and he got mad. Like he fell asleep like 7 years out of the 9, he got mad and like took off his eyelids so he wouldn't fall asleep again. And when they dropped on the ground, they became tea leaves.
Yeah, become tea leaves. This is the legend again. But another one, before he passed away, they don't show you the shoe here, but all the pictures they show the shoe, Bodhidharma with the shoe. Right here, can you see this? There's a shoe here. According to legend, he was poisoned by people, and yes, he passed away. So people buried him under the ground. After that, there's one ambassador from the emperor came back from India. On the way, he saw him
Oh yes.
still alive, and he said that, well, you better go back early or quicker. Your boss can pass away. Yes, when that ambassador got back, his emperor passed away. So what happened then? They dig out his coffin and saw only one shoe left in the coffin. That's all. But anyway, in Zen traditions, carry one shoe has significant meanings. In the West mean? No. That's why from now on you need to think, right? You think about this kind of Zen concept, Zen thought.
So kind of like one path, maybe?
One path. What else? What else?
Is it like the flower?
The flower? Yeah, it's similar like that. What else? That's what else. Here we live in duality, right? Black, white, good, bad, male, female. That's just two sides of the coins. The reason why he carry one is to represent the oneness about pure nature. This here, you see that oneness. Up and down is still duality. It's up, right, down, good, bad. It represents oneness, Buddha nature or goodness nature right here. That's what it represents for. So his story is so famous. If you study Zen tradition without him, it's a big part, because he's considered as a founder of Zen tradition in China. Of course, before him, there's many Zen masters too. But since he came to China in the 5th century, Zen tradition started to blossom. And it based upon his teaching that he said, forget all the teachings, forget all the books, just sit there, get practice, and recognize the pure nature or oneness nature. That's all. That's all you need. So let's start from that tradition. Right? So that's why let's go back to let me see here. Here, go back to 2 entries and 4 practices. 2 entries, he said, to realize that true nature. Okay, this the 4th entry is to realize the true nature, and the second one is to enter the practice, enter the true principle of practice. So entry, true principle, as for living behind the false, return to the true, make no discrimination between the self and others. In contemplation, one mind should be stable and unmoving as a wall. Is you understand? Right. So if you go beyond this type of good, bad, and so forth, you have the clarity in your mind. So, like to give you so many examples, when you come to the room to take a test, when you have interview, whichever important event in your life, you just keep your mind at peace without analyzing things, and just accept the way they are. Right? You have more clarity in your mind. You go beyond, or you go in middle way. Make sense? You walk middle way of that path, like, dislike, black, white, and so forth. So that's what this is meant for. That's our nature here. So that's why it's still applicable for our life. Whenever, especially when you do things, when you do things that's so important in your life, and even something like when you go to some places stranger to you, right? You may have doubt. You may have that kind of worriness, concern, and so forth. But if you can accept the way you are, you might be at peace. Make sense? But that's what about here. Like the war, because it sat there for 9 years facing the war. That's just what talk about. Remind me, would you like to do 3 minutes around 11? Okay, remind me then. Alright, so that's a second entry to attain realization is through practice, accepting karmic retribution, adapting to condition, through seeking and union with Dharma. This is, you can say, the essence principle of Buddhism. Why accepting the karmic retribution? What's mean? You understand what's meant by karma? Most of us know, right? We talked about that briefly, right? Before, right? So why we need to accept our karmic retribution? Let's say we can accept karma. Is just
to not fight it because it happens regardless. Basically, like not to fight it because it happens regardless.
Kind of like in the movie, how he said your present life is a reflection of the life you lived prior. So like you set your path for where you're at now. So just accepting where you're at as a result of the actions you took, and really growing from that to help you identify what actions you should take in the future.
So if you accept the karma, so you don't need to go to school then. You don't need to go to work then. Is that a meaning there? No. It's the opposite way. Remember I always tell you, we try our best, right? And accept the outcome. That's all. It is not in that we say, oh, I don't need to do anything. And accept everything. That's a different story. Hi. Yes, please come in. It's hard for you to find the rooms?
No, it was actually pretty easy.
Oh yeah, please come in. Let me stop stop here for a while. Let me introduce you, Miss Brittany. She represents the ISA, and she come here to tell you about our learning abroad programs. Please welcome her.
I'm with ISA, it stands for International Studies Abroad. So next summer is an opportunity for you to go abroad for 2 weeks. And I made a little PowerPoint with some pictures. Can I pull that up on the computer?
You have the...
It's on my email.
Your email? Okay, yeah, please. Gmail?
It's Zimbra. Zimbra?
Okay, yeah, please.
Yeah, it's for 2 weeks. It is in July, and you'll be taking the course in the springtime with you, Dr.
This is for summer. Yeah.
Like the trip is during the summertime.
You're based in Austin, right?
Yes, we are.
You drove your car here from Austin today?
This morning I did.
Really?
Yeah.
How was the traffic?
There was actually no traffic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A couple hours for you to drive from there to here?
Houston here.
2.5 maybe. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I was born in Houston, but I grew up in San Antonio.
You can use the device.
Cool. Okay. I think that's probably good. Okay, yeah. And then so I don't know if anyone went to the Studies Abroad Fair or the Learning Abroad Fair that just happened a couple weeks ago. But
she was there. She helped me out to put the.
Oh, hey. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like the biggest study abroad fair to date
so far? Yeah, which is really exciting.
And in January we have another one too. Yeah.
Let's do that. Okay. So basically, you'll be going to Bangkok for 2 weeks, which is really cool. so it's going to be during July. It's going to be about $2,600, and that includes the entire program. While you're there, as you can read, you'll be staying in apartments. I think it's like 2 people per room. And then you'll get stipends for lunches or for the meals. And then as far as like what you'll be doing there, you'll be participating in a number of cultural activities to really soak in the Thai culture. So that's why I just kind of put some pictures here of like some of the destinations that you'll be going to. So you'll be visiting some temples, and then like I said, like soaking in the culture with like shopping and eating, visiting some temples. There's like a Thai cooking class that you might take, and then you get to visit 2 universities while you're there, which is really cool. This is Mahayana University, and that's not a real picture, but it's really pretty. And then you'll get to visit the parliament, and just kind of soak in the little city life a bit. And you get credit for it, which is really cool, and it's a traveling experience. Dr. Dot will be teaching the course, as well as Dr. Karen. And so the applications will open hopefully sometime in November, but the deadline won't be until about February, so you have a little time to kind of like think about it, look through it, and if you had any questions about the course content, Dr. Dot would be more than happy to share that with you. But I think it's a really good opportunity, especially if you haven't studied abroad before or haven't traveled alone. This is kind of like a nice little step because you're going with the entire class. And so hopefully you'll get like a little travel bug and then you'll just start to travel some more. But it's a really good opportunity through U of H. So yeah, does anyone have any questions?
How you been? How you been out in Asia?
Not in Asia. I went to Australia and the Dominican Republic and Peru.
You took the student there, or you went by yourself?
I went on one of these faculty-led programs.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, so that's what kind of threw me into this gig. But, yeah.
Can you introduce briefly about the ISA?
ISA, yeah. So we're a study abroad company and we're an affiliate of U of H. So one of the things we do as a company is we'll put together faculty-led programs. So that way, sometimes students can't study abroad for a whole semester or they can't do a couple weeks in the summer. So this is a really good opportunity for them to still get that experience, but in a shorter amount of time. So aside from that, we also do study abroad programs for the semester, the summertime, the academic year. We're in like 30 different countries, and you're essentially an exchange student at these universities, but you get lots of layers of support while you're there. So that's pretty cool. And then most of your classes are taught English wherever you go. You'll either be with ISA students or you'll be with other American students, and then depending on which location you want to choose, you'll have some locals in your class as well. So yeah, lots of good opportunities.
One of the great aspects of this course is that this is the cheapest one.
Yes.
It's around 2,600, include everything. That I talked with Miss Courtney. That if you bring anything with you, everything covered. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The facility, the travelings, the visit, and so forth, everything's covered. Of course, you can bring a few $1,000 to spend over there, it's up to you. But still, this is to cover everything. And it is one of the cheapest one. And they put here that you have until early February to apply for the scholarship. Actually, IEF's application deadline. Not October 4, this is October 4 is for the spring, but for the summer is for until early February, and you may get up to $700 for scholarship, and they have some kind of scholarship for you too. And we talk about GoFundMe, right? You can
Go
put
with
that.
me, yeah.
You have to put that one and your family members and whoever,
Alright.
friends who can support you. And this is 3 credit courses. 3 credit class may cost you around $1,000. Is that right?
Yeah.
And actually 2,600 here. I think it's pretty cheap because even you go by yourself for a couple of weeks, it's more than that. And of course, only 2 weeks and you get 3 credits, whichever credit you can use, attitudes or in any kind of majors. So,
Wait, you get 3 credits that you can put anywhere? You just said
No.
you can put anywhere?
what is that?
I said something about credits.
3 credits, yeah, you can
religious
apply
studies
to your major. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
only 2 weeks, that's all. Instead of I spend the whole semester.
How long is the flight?
We do
9
math.
hours?
I don't know, probably more than that. At least 16 hours.
At least 16?
Not to this
Wait, so the 2,600 covers everything, including the flight?
Yeah.
That's a steal for
The flight.
Girl, that is.
No, the flight
It's not bad.
The flight's included.
Yeah, it's about 600.
flight isn't
we
included?
got $1,000. It's just around that.
I want to do the math.
Yeah, 600. Yeah, I talked with the mid-40.
Yeah, the flight.
So the max
That
out
would
of
be-
pocket you pay is around 2,600. That's all.
Flight's included or?
Yeah, flight included.
Oh, because it said up there not
No,
included.
I think
it's messed up. It's messed up.
Yeah, if you
Okay.
get your own flight.
If you get your own ticket, it's
Yeah.
only 1,600.
Okay, 1,600 and then with the flight.
Oh,
taxes.
gotcha.
That's the round trip. They add
Yeah, that's
they add
confusing.
$1,000. So we have to make correction for that.
Mhm.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can just flight time. That probably help.
Up to now, it's just
Probably like 9
somewhere
hours.
somewhere around
10
$1,000.
hours.
Yeah.
What about if you're graduating before because I'm graduating in May.
Oh really? It's up to you.
Can you still go if you're not a student?
Yeah, can you still go if you're not a student?
I think so. I don't know. You can talk with your counsel, but I think it's allowable
Okay.
as long as you still year-based student.
But I'm not. I'm graduated.
I don't know. talk to the counsel. I don't know.
It's 22 hours.
The flight?
Yes.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's like
That's a
800.
day. So
It's like
is it,
$800, $900.
so is 2 weeks included in the 2 days of flying?
Yeah.
So I only
Yeah.
get
It's like $850.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
You gotta worry about like
You'll
travel.
get there
there.
like 12 hours.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
totally worth it.
Yeah, I can imagine. If,
Okay.
yeah, if I can still.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for commenting. I think we need to fix that one. I need to fix it because
The flight.
the
Yeah, it's
flight
confusing.
price is
I'll just talk to the
so the max is only
It's like
$2,650.
I think it's probably talking
I
like
want
the
that
luggage,
150
you have to pay if you're bringing an extra luggage. You have to pay for the luggage fees.
You get your one, and then if you have a second one, that's when you.
Surcharges.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So up to now, we still try to figure out the airfare. If we can negotiate the low one, this is good for the students.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to email Dr. Dot. You can also stop by the Learning Abroad office if you have any questions. It's in the Calling building.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
you around here? You
Yeah,
walk
I'll be
around
around
and
today.
you go around the classes and talk about the other
Not
programs.
today.
right?
Not today. Yeah, I will be in the study abroad office from 12 to 1:30 if you're interested in talking about internships abroad, or just study abroad in general. Yeah, I'll be there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks
you for having
coming.
me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yes.
Happy day, guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can I get your email? Because I'd love to. I have class from 12 to 1, but I'd like to.
Do you mind if I write it
Yeah,
down?
please. Yes. Yeah. And we may have the formal meetings probably sometime in October. Yeah. So yeah, whoever registered for this class, we have that time of formal meeting. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you, guys.
Take care. Okay. So You like to have do 3 minutes?
Nothing.
Okay, good then. Let's just do 3 minutes then. So rest yourself, relax yourself. So, we will just be quick, huh? How should I go back quickly about this? You know, many students or graduate students too, they like to go to Asia, like Thailand, Vietnam, China, and so forth to teach English.
Yeah.
Because they're great demand in teaching, in learning English over there. Because many of them, especially young generation over there now, they like to come here to study abroad. So if that's something you want to explore, you can go and see. All right, so I think since we don't have much time, let me show you this. Let me go back one more time about the here. Accepting common contribution again. Accept the outcome. Try your best and accept the outcome. That doesn't mean it. Adapt to conditions. We have to be flexible. whichever thing we do, but have this discipline principle. Like for our second meditation practicum, for me, it will be flexible in the schedule, but we stick with the schedule. Make sense? So that's what about. When you have kind of flexibility, of course, it's nothing that you change your mind constantly, but still, you may take adaptation much easy. All right, especially when you go over there,
Yes.
you have to adapt to the tropical environment, the food and so forth, or wherever you go, or whichever environment conditions. If you have that adaptation, you can be more free. So let's say if you go to your friend's house, do you have problem of sleeping at night at that friend's house? You need to learn how to adapt, right? Or if they invite you to eat some kind of strange food, you scare or whatever. So this is human nature, but still, with meditation, we could have the kind of adaptation easily. No seeking. Remember, in the essence, whether it's the traditions or the federation, no seeking, no craving. That's the point. That's the cause of suffering there. So that's why I told you, they have different approaches, but the same ultimate goal. Right? And union with the Dharma, that means you merge with things. That means you be flexible with things, and you basically is talk about no selflessness. That means whichever thing happen, you just step out and help other people. You are in one with the environment. For example, if you sit here, if you're not in tune with the class, you will not pay attention. I mean that way, if you don't pay attention much about what we learn in here, you get lost. When you step out, you may not recognize what you learned today. It says, so wherever you go, you have to be in tune with things that surrounding you, with your boyfriends, girlfriends, with your tests, with your interview and so forth. That's what we call the union of the Dharma. Right? So that to be with here and now. What is this meaning? Okay? Before you go, and let me show you, get free only a couple of minutes. This is let's talk about the Siddhartha, right? Before he became a Buddhist monk. Here, he was a poor man. In the past, people use the wood as heating. It's just quite different from now. Of course, last 100 years ago, people they used the wood, the coal, right, as the source of his heaters. So he was young man, and he's so poor that he went to the forest to cut up the wood and sell for other people. But one day, when he deliver his wood, he came across to this man, the one who decided.
Người ta biết là có cái viết chữ đó, ta thật đã già rồi, không nhớ hết mọi việc. Để tốt à, để có bác cụ dạy cho người nhé. Cảm ơn con. Đi của tu Bồ Đề, chư Bồ Tát Ban Hạnh
Can you see that?
Ước dương trị, sanh thanh tịnh tâm, bất ưng trụ, sắc sanh tâm, bất ưng trụ, trên hương vị, xúc pháp sanh tâm.
Can you see that? Remember I told you this part? That's part of what the Diamond Sutra. So when he delivered the word, he heard that man, the one who decided that sutra, Diamond Sutra. In that sutra, we say, don't activate your mind based on the form. Don't activate your mind based on the sound. Activate your mind based on nothingness.
Why do they hit that?
Oh, that's the wooden. That's what we call wooden fish. That's like you play piano. Yeah, you just need the people to recite the sutra in the temple. Yeah. When you were there, right, at my temple, you saw, right, the big wooden fish, right? People go follow the rhythm of recitation. It's like they follow the rhythm of piano, violin, or guitar, and so forth to pray. That's what about. Okay, so this is so important. That's why. So somehow at that moment he recognized on the spot, not to instate, not to activate his mind based on this form, this sound, and so forth, to based on the stability of the mind. To activate or to base upon actually not attaching anything. That's the whole idea. To realize on, let's just your pure mind here. Okay. Okay. I think another part too is still another part. Let me see. Give me 1 minute. One more part. I like you got to watch.
Không thì con này phải tiếp tục truyền y bác cho đời sau. Người đời mãi mãi không hiểu được hàm ý của việc quyền y bác, nên chỉ biết tranh quyền đoạt lợi, chiếm lấy y bác, giành quyền cao thấp. Cho nên phần y bác này ta mong rằng sẽ truyền đến người thì giúp, vậy sao?
So basically, from Bodhidharma, from Buddha down to Bodhidharma, and to this fifth one, and the young monk is the sixth one. They transmit what they call the bowl and the charge. As the side, what they call transmit the mind to my shield, mind to my shield. That's according to the Zen tradition there. So in his teaching, the sixth page of teaching is talk about that too. Don't rely on the whole thought. That's up and down here. Rely on this one. That's the whole that essence teaching actually. Okay. So all right. So see you on Thursday then. If not, get the title and so forth, let me know.